Hey guys, welcome back to Talkin Sass, and thank you guys so much for joining me. This week's guest, so honored to have her on. I mean, she has over 20 years experience in professional wrestling. She's one of the most respected women I've ever shared a locker room with. Plus, she has so many great accomplishments. It's just insane. But before we get to her, let's talk about patreon.com/sassysteffi. Starting as only $2, you're going to get so much amazing content per month. You're going to get to know who the guests are in advance. You're going to get the podcast a day early. And sometimes you even get a chance to ask my guests a question, which turns into these bonus extra episodes basically for my Patreon members only. And they're so fun and exclusive only, again, to my Patreon members. So make sure you go and check that out. It is patreon.com/sassysteffi. And of course, if you can subscribe at a higher tier even and get even more exclusive content. Again, that's patreon.com/sassysteffi. Now, don't forget, you guys can also go follow along on Instagram and on Twitter. If you have already at Sassy Steffi, you know that I had issues with my computer last week. That's why there was no episode. I'm currently working through that, and I will keep you guys updated on both Instagram and Twitter at Sassy Steffi so that you guys know what's going on. But I have so much great content and interviews already recorded that I want to get out to you guys. They're just sitting here waiting to be edited. So that's what we're doing. Now, let's talk about this week's guest because, like I said, she is so accomplished. In 2013, she was #1 in the PWI's top 50 women wrestlers. She's been seen on Lucha Underground, TNA, Ring of Honor, and more. She's one of the OG Shimmer roster members. In fact, she wrestled on episode 1 to episode 60, and we're going to talk about that. It is pretty amazing. She is a 2-time Shimmer Women's Champion, and like I said, super respected wherever she goes. She is the future legend. This is Cheerleader Melissa. Hey guys, help me welcome Cheerleader Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Pandemic life from home.
Same
Been
here.
home.
I totally understand. But are you keeping busy at least with your downtime?
Yeah, no. It's funny. I always tell everybody I feel like I'm looking like the girl from the Ring over here, certain days of the week, but my house looks amazing.
Lots of home renovations. We're doing
lots of home renovations. Yes, painted everywhere, did all sorts of stuff. And, it was like, if you're going to be trapped here might as well make it like your dream, your dream condo or your dream like hotel suite, whatever. Just make it a fun house. And there's no rules. All the rules went out the door. There's no rules.
I love it. See, right now, my basement, when we moved into our house, was completely untouched. It was just literally the frame. So my husband is actually taking his own time and making it what he wants to make. We're making a cinema room and a playroom and a bathroom down there. Like he's having a good old time. He's taking his time, but he's having fun with it too.
I was going to ask, he's going to go be in a man cave?
Well, he thinks like, he said I could have a wall. I could have a wall to put like my wrestling stuff up, kind of like this one. And like some of my like memorabilia that I have that's important to me, like Cleveland Brown stuff and stuff like that. I'm like, it's gonna end up being like our thing, not just a man cave. Although I'm sure he'll spend a good time of down there playing video games and shit when he's, when he's all finished. But let's talk some wrestling because I mean it's been a while since you've even been in the ring because of COVID and everything. But I mean, you've been wrestling for, if I'm correct, 21 years now.
I don't want to come to terms with when you're in the double digits and the first number is 2. Oh gosh. Don't want to come to terms with reality and age and time.
Oh,
yes, I know. But I mean, it's funny. I always like refer to wrestling as like sometimes wrestling's like the abusive ex-boyfriend that you can't like that keeps calling back, but he's just like go away. But then they keeps calling back, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll make it work this time.
Well, I mean, you're like crazy talented. So like it's, of course people are going to keep calling you back into it because you are just automatically a draw because, like I said, you're crazy talented. You're
Thank
beautiful
you.
on top of that. And you can teach the younger generation so much because you've already been in for such a long amount of time. And it's crazy.
Right.
I've learned a lot from you in the few
Thank
times
you.
that we shared the ring together.
No, I appreciate that. And it's funny, you know, I should have mentioned, yeah, that's actually another thing I've been doing during my quarantine time is kind of a virtual training. So before the pandemic hit, I took on basically I took on a couple of students that are you know, local to here, one being Katie Forbes, and then the other one being Lacey Ryan, now Zoe Stark on TV. You know, so we were, you know, before we were training, and then pandemic hit. So basically like with, you know, especially like with Zoe, you know, she would, you know, train on her terms, and like she would, so basically I would do like online critiquing. So like basically the girls would send me matches or send me footage or send me training footage, and then just create and be able to do the best I can to, you know, guide people and have conversations, you know, from my home, you know, to help them out. But, you know, I was really happy when I was working with Katie, you know, that was like a really proud moment, like when she got signed, because it was after her match with Jordan Grace, and I was there. So that match happened here in Las Vegas, and I was backstage with it, and it was really fun because, you know, I got to be like a stage mom.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, oh, this is my calling. I want to be a stage mom, and yeah, and it's just, it was really hard when the pandemic hit because, you know, we couldn't. That's when all like the in-ring training like really stopped. So that was really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like for me, it's been almost 3 years since I wrestled just because I had a baby and then I had
Congratulations.
to get, thank you very much. I had to get back into shape again. And then by the time I did, it's COVID happening. And it's like, you know, I can't seem to get back in there because of that reason. But, you know, it's been a while now for everybody and it's just hard. Like I feel
Right.
that itch all the time. Like I just want to go and like, even if it's just rolling around in the ring, just to get that physical, you know,
Definitely.
feeling back.
Definitely. I
So
like
like,
that too.
what's that?
I said I would like that too. I don't know what that's like anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, you've been doing it forever. And like, I found it interesting that your 17th birthday was your very first match against Lexi Fife. How
That's
was that,
right.
dude? Can you remember any of that?
Not really. No, no, it was in, I do remember it was in Douglas, Wyoming. And uh, I remember it was like kind of part of like a little, it was like a little tour. It was like me, Lexi, and then other independent workers and a few like ex WWF stars. So I remember like Jake the Snake, the Bushwhackers, and Honky Tonk were all on that too. And like, gosh, if you want to talk about like being like thrown in the fire of just like an eclectic group of people, it was a lot to take in for a 17-year-old. Just like the different like personalities, like they were all like so much to deal with. But I mean, they were all great, but it was like a lot for me to handle at the time. And then it was at like kind of, I remember it was like, you know, it was very like country. It felt like it was like a rodeo arena or something, you know. And then I also remember being like super nervous, but it went well. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, and then like wrestled like two more like towns after that. But it was a really cool like little journey.
I've done some of those like like weird like rodeo shows or they
Yeah.
just happen to have wrestling with it. But those always seem to be like the best time because those people are just there usually to have a great time to begin with. And then you add wrestling in and they're just like, all right, this is
Yeah, and it's so true because then you get you get, well, not like the fans, but you get people showing up just to have a great time who aren't wrestling fans to begin with, you know, and they're just there to have fun. So they're normally like the funnest crowds because like they'll cheer and boo anything just because they're having such a good time.
Yeah, and that makes it so much more fun for you because like you know, you don't have to necessarily concentrate on the moves per se, because it's more the interaction with the crowd. Like I remember I wrestled so randomly. I did this like 4 years in a row, Dukes of Hazzard Fest, and they had like 25,000 people there. And like you get to meet like Daisy Duke and all the characters from the show and stuff. And then they just have wrestling during the afternoon in the middle of this like mountain range in Virginia. But it was so much fun because it's the largest crowd I've ever been in front of. And I think I wrestled Lorelei Lee the first year,
Oh my
Ambrose like
gosh.
later than that. Yeah. So like it was just fun. And it's just like you just got to have like this great time, and they're having a great time. And it's just a blast. It's like, did I really just get paid to do that? Because that was just like super fun.
Right. Till we go spend like our money on food afterwards and everything. It's like, I deserve this steak dinner.
Yeah. But I like that show was in the boondocks of Virginia. I mean, like we were surrounded by mountains. So like it was like quite a drive to go somewhere to find
Oh my
like,
gosh.
you know, your typical fast food joint. So
Oh my gosh, that sounds. I remember I like wrestled in like Norfolk, Virginia.
mm-hmm.
And there was a couple shows out there, and like same thing, like a lot to handle, being like thrown in with like crazy personalities. Like I remember oh gosh, we shared a car ride, like a bunch of small group of us, you know, they had like two minivans to like transport the wrestlers. And like we ended up sharing the minivan with Road Dogg and Big Boss Man. Oh my God. And those two together are such a hot mess. They were such a hot mess. And it was the funniest car ride ever. Like I had like no energy. Like I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna take on the rest of the day. It was fun.
I mean, there are some really eclectic people within wrestling. You have those people who are like really quiet introverts who just kind of like show up to the show and become like this different person. And then you just have these people who are like larger than life, 24 hours a day. And there's like,
and even larger in the ring too.
yeah. And it's just crazy because these people, I don't know how they have the energy for that. So I'm somewhere.
I know. It was, yeah, I know what you mean. That was just such a funny, yeah, it definitely goes in like my road stories.
Oh, there's I'm sure a lot of road stories that you could share. What's probably the wildest one that you have?
Oh gosh. Wildest one. See, it's so funny. When I get put on the spot, my brain goes blank. But watch, like later on, I'm gonna be like, oh, wait a minute. No. I got a good one. A good one. No, but the one I always normally tell, and I'm pretty sure it's not like my wildest one, but like one like I've told a lot was it was you know how you have to take it was in Canada for ECCW, and so basically like the promoter had a big van that transported all the wrestlers, and then also had the ring trailer attached to it. So I just we did like 2 shows in a row. And like I remember like the first show, it was just like attached to this club, and like it was just got like no sleep like the first night. And then the second show was in Victoria. So like when we were approaching the boat, you know, to get on, you know, to go to Victoria, like I was just like shocked because the promoter was just like, what are you guys doing? We're like getting close. And they're like, oh, sorry. And then everybody like ducks down and hides under blankets and stuff because they charge per person that enters a boat, right? So it's like the promoter's way of like saving money, right? And I was sitting in the front seat, so I didn't hide, but like everybody like ducked down and like put their luggage over them and hid. And I'm like, the hell? And then we pull up, and then like the pro was just like, it's just like, oh yeah, you know, this, you know, my car and the trailer and 2 people, please. I'm like, oh, okay. And then did the show, was fine. And then the next day, oh my God, like Canada's once a year blizzard hit. Like no joke, like the blizzard hit of like freaking hell. And so we had to, so like I remember getting on the boat back, and the boat was rocking. It was just like whatever. Like you couldn't even like furniture, like chairs are like sliding across the place. Like it was, I was so terrified. And then when we got off of the ship, the roads were so icy. The cars were just like, we're literally watching cars slide off the road and like into a ditch. And then we had to drive up a hill, and the roads were so icy we couldn't make it up the hill, and it was so sad because we like almost make it to the top, and then like we start sliding backwards.
Oh, no.
And then we had to ditch the ring trailer on the side of the road in order to make it up over this hill. And then we finally got back to like our car to drive back into the States, and it was like you couldn't even see it. Like there was like this much snow on top of the car, and like you couldn't even like see the car. And then like later on we heard that like I guess somebody towed like it got what do you call it, like impounded, whatever, the ring trailer.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, so like it was just yeah, that was a lot to handle. I probably was like 19 or 20 at the time too, like super young.
Yeah, that's quite a story. Wow.
Gosh, it was just like one thing after another. It's like, what else could happen?
Yeah, with wrestling, it's hard to tell because road stories, honestly, anything can happen at any time, and you have no control over it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but I'm sure another one will pop in my brain soon though. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk some more then, and then when one pops up, you can just cut me off and just tell me. I love road stories. I think some of them are hilarious. I love hearing like wild stories that other people had to go through because I had my own, of course. So definitely. But one thing I really want to talk to you about is basically your whole Shimmer career, because you're of course one of the originals that was on the very first taping, and you went all the way. You wrestled every single one until 61. So all first 60, and then 61 you had to settle for a run-in because you had to go get stitches earlier in the day and you weren't able to be on that show as a wrestler because you're hauling ass back from the hospital.
I know. Oh my gosh, I know that. Yeah, so I got busted open like pretty bad. Yeah. And I remember like when I got hit in the head and got like busted open, and it was from a lot of people think it was the reverse Rana that Lufisto gave me, but it actually happened a second before that when she threw like kind of a wild elbow and it hit me like right above the eyebrow, and then it kind of stunned me for a minute, but then I still like went in, got underneath her, and she gave me the reverse Rana. So when I sat up, it started like, it was like shooting like a sprinkler, it was just, you know what? And I remember when I got underneath Lufisto for the Rana, I remember feeling it like drip in my eye. So like I had one eye to work with when I was like,
that's rough.
One eye to work with. And I remember I was in disbelief. I was like, is this really happening? Like, it's not what I think it is. And then like, it was all over the place. And, of course, the first thing I think of is I look at my outfit and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm wearing red. Because I didn't want like an outfit for I was like, oh, thank God I'm wearing my red outfit. Okay, we're cool. And then like, the match is going on and I'm like seeing it and I'm just like, I was like, oh, come on. Like I really don't want it to be this bad. Like, I really hope it's not as bad as it looks. And then get back there. And then I remember like Masada was backstage at Shimmer, and he's got, and he knows how to glue people back together. He's done that plenty of times. Yeah. So when he
death matches to know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I was kind of happy. I was like, oh, thank God Masada's here. He can fix this real quick, whatever. And everybody's like, step out of the way. I'm here. Let me take a look at this. He's like, oh no, girl, you need stitches. I'm like, oh, no. And I felt fine. Like it's the adrenaline that's going, like when you get the adrenaline going, you don't feel any pain or anything. So it was not painful at all. So like Dan Murphy took me to the hospital and gosh, and I was just like, hi, I'm here to get stitches. And And they're like, okay, what's your pain level? And I'm like, it's 0. And they're like, what happened? And then I was just like, you know what? I was in the wrong place at the right time. And then they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I just want to get stitched up real quick. And, because I do athletic modeling and, and I just want to be fine, be on my way. And I think it's because I had no pain and like, I think it's because I had no pain and was being like all chill about it. Like they ended up getting me in right away. I didn't think that would happen. They were like, oh, okay. Yeah. They were like, oh, fix this one real quick. Here's an easy case,
Get her in and out.
Yeah. They thought, yeah, oh, this is an easy case. Let's do this real quick. And like the girl was cool. There was this chick that sewed me up and yeah, but let me tell you, 3 days later, it was hurting. Like I was hurting really bad. Like,
sure.
Oh yeah, 3 days later, oh my God, I was in so much pain. But it's just crazy how like when you have adrenaline going, how you just like really don't feel anything.
Yeah, and I mean, you came in on I keep saying like episode 60, but Shimmer 61
Right.
rather. And you beat down Lufisto with Mercedes Martinez at that point in time. I mean, you and Lufisto had a pretty lengthy rivalry going on there, Shimmer, for God.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. The blood helped.
Yeah, that definitely adds a different element to it.
I know. And I'm definitely not a bleeder, I'm definitely not, into, doing the busted open thing or anything. So like when that happened, I mean, yeah, no, that was legit and it hurt. And I got like I can see my scar. I had like I think it was like 15 stitches, so it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But they did a good job sewing it. And then I got God, I forget the name of it, but whatever. I got my eyebrows tattooed, so now it's totally covered and looks fine.
Oh yeah, that works.
I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going for that right away.
Yeah.
I was like, see that scar, lady? Go right over that.
See, me too. Like, I'm not a bleeder either. Like, I'm like, if you want me to bleed in a match, like, you're gonna have to like offer me something like absolutely ridiculous because I don't want to have anything to do with that. But like,
Right.
Of course you get your, your elbows scraped up or whatever,
Right.
all the different things that happen within wrestling. But that's the only way I've ever bled in a match was like just like cutting open like rug burn or something on my elbow from bumping.
Right.
So
yeah. No,
so
same here.
within Shimmer, I mean, you've been Shimmer champion twice.
Mm-hmm.
Have been Shimmer tag team champions with Mercedes Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is your greatest rivalry from that? Besides, I mean, we've obviously touched on Lufisto, but is there anybody else that like you feel is like your ultimate nemesis at Shimmer?
I think it was my rivalry with Mischief.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, no, I think that was good. I think I mean, the reason why I picked that one is because the chemistry was so great too. So, but it was and on top of that, like I had no idea that she was so bendy. Like that was not information given to me before, so everything. So like in my first match with Mischief, there was a lot I learned that day about her, completely unintentional. Completely unintentional. And it was because of those moments. It just kind of just grew on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did not see that one coming, but it was a good one. Yeah.
I think I've only wrestled her twice, but yeah, like the amount like flexibility that she has in her whole body is just like, I wonder if she was a contortionist or something like besides wrestling.
Yeah.
She just could bend in like the craziest ways.
Well, yeah, because I put her in my I put her in my submission. And normally, when you put a submission like the one that I put on, like you can feel everybody's like limits, you can kind of feel limit. So I kept on going lower and lower, and I'm just like, and I'm going lower and lower, and I'm thinking like, is she okay? Like, what is happening? And then like I kept going lower and lower until like her foot touched her head, and like she seemed fine. So that's the moment when I was just like, oh, F it, and then I found her limit.
Well, I mean, speaking of mischief, that like reminds me, you did a lot of work with Kong, but there was one time where she had mischief around her shoulders and she's just banging her head and her feet together. And I'm
I
like,
love that moment.
oh, it was so good.
It
But
was
I was like,
so
holy
good.
crap, man. Oh, mischief and her flexibility is crazy. But
Yeah.
speaking of Kong, I mean, you got to work with her all over the world, but mainly what most people obviously recognize is the work that you did at TNA with her, where you were Raisa Shahid. I can talk today. And I mean,
Me neither.
why on earth does it seem that every promotion wants to put you under a mask?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I don't know.
Because like when I think Cheerleader Melissa or the characters that you've been, Alyssa Flash, Rise to Saeed, I always think I'm like, she's so beautiful. And even when you're Rise to Saeed and you're only seeing the eyes, you had this like just beautiful makeup on. So it's like, why on earth are you putting her under a mask? She's beautiful, she's talented. Show
Thank
her for
you.
what she is, you know? Like it was frustrating to me. So I can only imagine how it felt for you actually
I
going
mean,
through
I'm
motion.
not gonna lie, like I was frustrated a little bit at first, but then I started seeing the positive side of like, you know, these are kind of like the easiest paydays ever. You know? So like I kind of like started accepting a little bit. I was like, yeah, easy payday. You know, I remember there was like one moment where like remember they were like announcing like a big like I think they were announcing like I don't know, a Royal Rumble, or I don't know what they were doing, or a Battle Royale or something. And
Mhm.
then the last person they announced was Kong, and she was only female, and then I came out with her.
Yeah.
So like that's all we had to do was like go out there and like stand on the stage, and that's it. And when we were both out there on the stage, we were both like, easiest payday ever. Yep, getting paid, and getting paid.
Well,
Okay, bye.
as a women's wrestler who has faced both of you in the ring, you're both physically intimidating. Because I mean, I'm not like I'm kind of on the short side, but you guys tower over me, and you guys are like just these great, amazing talents that have traveled all over the world. So like for you to just be there and standing, I mean, that's all you guys need to do. Because like I said, you're just physically intimidating as is, especially to like I said, smaller, shorter people like myself.
Yeah, no, we're definitely, yeah, me and Kia are definitely on the taller side for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely stand out like a sore thumb, and especially like in Shimmer and stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
So it's always like when kind of nice when we see like other girls like, oh, okay, something different.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yes.
sure like a Madison Eagles or something for you is like just like so different from most of the other girls because you both are so tall. I know she's over 6 foot tall. I'm not sure you're what, five?
Yeah, I'm only 5'8". Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's quite a bit taller than me.
Yeah. Quite a bit
So
different.
great though. Such a great worker though.
Yes. I loved working with her as
Hmm.
well. Amazing.
Yeah, no, she's so good.
Now, when you came out as Alyssa Flash in TNA, I read somewhere that the makeup that you were having done was inspired by the woman who sits on both my shoulders here, Sensational Sherry.
Oh, I love Sherry. Yeah. I would definitely say she inspired a lot, like the Raisha Saeed,
Mhm.
not Alyssa Flash. Yeah. No, I used to love Sherry's makeup. Like, I think I used to love watching Sherry just to see like what kind of crazy eye makeup she's going to do that day. I was obsessed with that. Like, and all of her like over the top, like glitter, like sparkly outfits and like her frizzy hair. And like she would always have something like written on her face or something like that. Like, I wanted all of that.
Yeah, I did that too a lot at not so much on the independent scene. Well, Shimmer, I guess, is still kind of independent scene, but like
Right.
on random shows, I didn't do that as much. But like at Shimmer, I always tried to have like some kind of crazy makeup thing going on or little S's
Mhm.
on my face or something
I
similar
remember
to what
that.
she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh my
love doing that.
God.
But there it's a lot easier because like not like a lot easier, but like you have tables to sit down at and do your makeup and change and
Mm-hmm.
have time. Whereas at other independent shows, you're lucky if you have a chair to put your,
Mm-hmm.
mirror on so you can put your face on properly and all that kind of stuff, depending on where you're at.
Right.
Um,
Right. I know. We're lucky enough to get a female locker room, if anything.
yeah, yeah. It's very, very rare that you get all females locker room,
Right.
you know? So let's continue on because like you have so many accomplishments. Like it's crazy. Like 2004, you're only 5 years in the Cauliflower Alley Club, which I have been to a couple of times out in Las Vegas. They awarded you with the Future Legend Award, and I know you use that as part of your like your moniker in you know the years after that coming. What kind of honor was that for you? Because I believe you're the first woman to ever get that award too, right?
Yeah, no, I was definitely, no, it was honored and it was special. And, I think I teared a little bit, but, no, it was really nice to be able to like have an award that, they felt that like one, I deserved, but two, like other notable talent had received that award before me. So, it was like, one of my first like big, happy, accomplishment moments. Like, oh, it's like you have faith in me.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't? Like I said, you have so much talent. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad that, you're doing like these online trainings and stuff that you said. I mean, obviously,
Mhm.
Zoe Clark is doing crazy well at NXT.
Mhm.
Like I don't know her, never met her, but like I watch her and I'm like, wow, the matches that she's having, and she literally just got to the PC. You can,
Mhm.
give a lot of course, it's her natural ability to be athletic, but then you gotta, put into account also the people behind her that helped her, along the way.
Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like that was that was like kind of an amazing story too, because when I first met Zoe, like I saw so much of myself in her because I learned television the hard way.
Mm,
You just get thrown on there, and it's amazing. Like it's amazing how much is not taught in wrestling schools.
mm,
They just teach you how to wrestle, and do the in-ring stuff, and that's pretty much it. But like there's just so many aspects of pro wrestling and wrestling on TV that is never taught. I was never taught, it's like your presence and timing, your timing on the stage, breaking everything down, and not just in a match, like, going, entering the ring, exiting the ring, what to do, when your opponent comes out, what not to do when your opponent comes out. Um, things that like, and you start learning about like, what agents look for, what they like and what they don't like, what they expect. When you're performing in the ring, you always want to like cheat towards a hard camera. It's like all this little tiny stuff that like nobody like ever taught, doesn't really like teach in like wrestling schools. So
yeah.
then, so then like when I met Zoe, I saw so much of myself in her because it's funny, her husband was one of my trainers a billion years ago.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Tom Howard. So, and he's really good. Like he's a very, very picky trainer. And I mean, for me personally, it's always been just the pickiest trainers that like I personally feel like I've responded well with. And that's why like certain things that I do in the ring like look so clean. It's just because like I had like a very like picky trainer at the time, and they were just picky about like the execution, so Tom's like certainly got that gift. And but yeah, so like her in-ring, like I have absolutely like nothing to do with like her in-ring ability. But when I first met her, like she had nothing else. Like like her gear like wasn't like camera friendly, and like, her present, it's just like it was just no
Mm,
TV training, and also being a female on TV, it's a whole different game than the guys.
yeah.
It's a whole being a female wrestler is a whole different monster than being a male wrestler. Trust me. So that's where it started, and started like, working on her presence. And she also had like Sin Bodhi helping her. He is such a great trainer. Like he's such a killer trainer for promos too, for helping out with promos. He does amazing promo classes. Then connected Zoe with Allison Danger. Danger did an incredible job with her. You know, she brought all of her TV experience to Zoe. So yeah, like, and you know, and besides having like a good team behind her, like, you know, you just got to be, you know, persistent and consistent. And that's what she was. She was super hungry. She's super driven. And she listened to everybody. She listens. She takes everything seriously. And, you know, hard work certainly does pay off because, I mean, we did something right. You know, we did something right if she got hired and got put to TV right away.
Yeah, I mean, she literally showed up to the PC and like I think within 2-3 weeks she was on TV. And I mean, she's already having matches with the, you know, NXT Women's Champion, which is just crazy for you to come already TV ready and then ready to face a champion that quickly. Like,
no, I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, Io Shirai is not somebody to, you know, laugh at either. And she had great chemistry with her in the ring. Like it's wow.
Yeah, she did. She's doing really good. And you know, we still talk and I'll watch her matches and, you know, and I'll send my thoughts or whatever. And it's just amazing, like everything that she's learning over there, everything she's learning from like Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg and Triple H and like all the support that she's got over there. So I'm like super proud of her. Like she's doing such a good job and she's killing it over there. And it makes me feel really good that she's got a good team behind her over there because, you know, like when she got signed and had to move, it was just like, you know, your kid's going off to college. Like, I was like, no, come back. It's like, I want you to go, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh, I can totally understand that. But like something else I want to talk to you before we end today. There's like 2 personal stories that I have with you that I like. Well, one's not even with you. One's like about you. So I don't even know this story. And then the other one, but the first one, so I'm super, super green. This is like 2010. I go over to England and obviously you and Soraya Knight have like a crazy history of everything that you guys have gone through over the course of your guys' careers. And I'm wrestling her and I'm a heel in England, of course. So she's like, you're going to win. And I was winning by DQ anyway to set up for another match for us the next day. And she's like, when you're done, I want you to cut a promo and say that your friend sent you, meaning you were my friend that sent me to beat her. Like, I was like, okay. I was like so intimidated though. I was like, Soraya, you're my veteran. And at this time I barely knew you. Like I had been on maybe like 1 or 2 Shimmer shows at this point in time. And I was like, Cheerleader Melissa's not like going to kill me when I get back to the States, is she? And she's like, no, it's okay. But like, I was intimidated. Like I said, you know, you have this intimidating, you're amazing talent.
We do. Me and Kia do. I do for sure. There are so many girls that tell me that all the time. There are so many new girls that are so scared to come up to me or to talk to me. You know, I have the like, you know, the resting bitch face. Like
we've all been there.
Yes, no, it's so true. It's so true. Like I definitely have a presence because I have so many girls tell me that all the time.
Yeah. But once you get to know you, like now that obviously I know you, it's like a totally different situation. But even going to my other story, like I remember we were wrestling each other in a singles match, which is our only, I think, singles match. No, I think maybe remix. We did something maybe. Anyway, either way, at Resilience in Chicago, I walk in and I'm like, you know, what are we doing tonight? And they're like, oh, you and Cheerleader Melissa, and you're going up. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Like Chicago is where Shimmer is. Melissa is like an OG Shimmer member. I was like, what are you talking about that I'm going up on Melissa? And then they're like, you're getting a disqualification. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Like, why would anybody put me over clean with Melissa?
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, nah, no, I'm not going. I'm not, what? And they're like, no, because I think Melanie or Taylor Made came in and blew some perfume or something in your eye or something. I can't remember the exact situation.
Right.
But, like I remember that day. Like I have a great picture where you had me in the clover leaf and like you're you're bending me down too. And
Right.
awesome. Just this side view of you just like compacting me. I love that match.
Oh my gosh, how funny. I forgot about that show too.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know. Oh my
But
gosh.
another personal story that I just actually thought of, we did LFC. For those who don't know what that is, it's like a UFC for women, but we're more scantily clad than what you would see with the ladies in UFC.
Uh-huh.
You were in the ring with Sienna, or Allison Kay as we know her. And you
Yeah.
guys were like having like this crazy, like me and Mia Yim, who were working with each other that day, were watching you two. And you guys were having like this crazy match in there that you guys were planning. And you did like a Hurricane Rana, like running up the cage onto Allison Kay. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, I don't even know how. Oh my gosh, I don't. Oh yeah, I know now. Okay. I think I know now.
But like you guys were putting, like me and Mia were like for some reason main eventing that show. And you guys were like, I think 2 matches before us, and we're like, are you sure you don't want to switch us? Because that what they're doing is like insane. And you guys, obviously Allison Kay has a lot of MMA experience.
Yeah, she
And me and
does.
Mia have like 0. We're like, how do we become main event on this thing?
Oh no, though I remember that though. Allison Kay, I love her.
Same.
And yeah, we enjoyed. I remember like because it's crazy because like we wanted to get creative. It's the environment certainly kind of forced us to get creative and keep it entertaining and not and basically not discredit like any of the moves, or you know what I mean. That's one thing we didn't want to do. We didn't want to discredit any serious type of moves in there, but we were still trying to figure out ways to get creative, and that was good, and that was fun, different, and I liked it because your match is technically only 3 minutes with breaks in it. So
Yeah, it was crazy doing that. I loved it. I know Mia Yim and I, we did the same thing. We wanted to get creative. So like we're like actually throwing like submissions in there that like we never really used in wrestling, but we were
right.
to make it more believable and stuff, even for us. Like we had a blast. Like I have crazy pictures from there. Like I had the flaming red hair at the time, and it's like flying all over the place. Is like we're going at it. I mean, essentially, we're punching the shit out of each other, but we're having a blast at the same time.
I know, it was great. And then you get the water break, and I was like, yes, please.
100%. And like,
I was like, hell yeah.
I remember too, I don't know if it was a legit thing, but I remember there was a photographer there, and they were like, this is Robin Leach's personal photographer. And I was like, this is insane. Like, what
was the show out here in Vegas?
Yeah.
That makes sense because Robert Leach lived out here. So that would make sense.
Yeah, that was such a fun, crazy show. And like, I remember even afterwards, they took us out in like a stretch limo to some restaurant down the street or something at one of the casinos. And it was one of those weekends, like I have a picture, I think, where we all went out to a strip club even after that. Like, I think it was Taylor Made, Allison Kay, me, you, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. I'm going to have to see if I can find that picture. Like, as I'm talking, more memories from that show are coming.
Please find that, because I really don't remember that. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I don't remember that, but I really don't remember that.
It's Vegas. I mean, obviously,
it's Vegas.
There, but
how many strip clubs have I been to be so jaded that I don't remember when I went to one? I really don't. I remember the limo. I totally remember the limo though.
Well,
the venue was so cool though. The venue was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun there too. I remember like at the restaurant, I had quite a bit of wine. So that might be why maybe you don't remember the rest of the thing as well. the liquor was flowing, I do believe.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Oh my God. I'm trying to like remember. God, my poor brain. I swear, like after like shows and wrestling matches, like I almost kind of treat them as like dreams. This is like, okay, that's over with, you know? And like it just I forget so much stuff. I forget so much stuff. It's like, you know, like the next morning, like when you wake up and you know you had a dream, like you remember it when you wake up, but then like you kind of like within an hour, like you've totally like forgotten about it.
Yeah, throughout the day, the details just fade away.
Yeah, the details fade away for sure.
Well,
Yeah, there's so much stuff I forget. I mean, it's funny, like the stuff like I'll remember is like any of just like, you know, like crazy times, crazy road stories or whatever. And like, you know, it's almost like you remember like the negative or the bad stuff more than, you know, if nothing, if you don't have any memories of something, then it must have been a good time, must have been a good show. Like no drama.
Yeah, well, I
Like
remember
the
actually,
drama.
I think we separated from you at some point in the night, and I remember, or maybe it was like the next night or the night before, Backstreet Boys were still performing. I think their whatever they call it, where they stay there and play the residency. Backstreet Boys were still doing the residency, and I remember Cat Powers, Allison Danger, myself, and I can't remember who else. We went, and Cat Powers somehow ended up getting a Backstreet Boys poster. And then all of us ended up sneaking into their after party at the Paris. Like,
oh my God.
Vegas for me is something else anyway. Like, I absolutely love it there. I can't imagine living there like you do. Whew. But
well, it's funny, if you live here, you don't really do anything on the strip. You don't really do anything. So like when friends or when people, when like friends or family like comes to town and we actually do something on the strip, you know, it's almost like you kind of like rediscover Vegas and become a tourist again. Because like if you live here, you really don't like go to the strip. Most of the locals will go to Fremont Street because it's cheaper and easier and it's like kind of easier to bar hop, but you can't really like do that on the strip.
No, definitely. I've been to both parts, Fremont Street and the strip. And I think if I'm going just to drink and have a good time, Fremont Street's the place to go. But like I like to do like the touristy stuff, and like I loved Backstreet Boys, so obviously I love doing that with them. Like we tried so hard to see the Backstreet Boys, and like I think something like someone said like they had just left or something like from their own after party. I was like, how lame is that? But it's Vegas. What do you expect, right? They want to go party too.
True.
Well, Melissa, it's been awesome having you on here. Is there anything like social media or anything that you want to promote before we sign off for the evening?
I always want to promote clickrussell.com. That's where, you know, one central site, all of my Shimmer matches, all 100 of them. I don't know how many are there. But yes, all of our best matches, best of Shimmer, best of women's wrestling on clickrussell.com.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Melissa, it's been awesome going down memory lane with you and talking all these stories. And even like, I didn't even remember LFC until I started talking to you about it. Then I'm like, all these memories start coming back.
Oh my God. You know what? I mean, I'll do like a quick, very, very quick story. I mean, I've told it before, but I'll tell it on here again. Like one like kind of cool story was, I don't know how I got booked on All Japan Wrestling because it's a men's company, but I got booked on All Japan for a show in Taiwan. And I was telling Danger about this too. I was like, I went to the gym was on the top floor of the hotel and I got on the cardio bike. And then next thing I know, here comes Muda. Muda comes into the gym and gets on the cardio bike next to me. And, you know, we're doing cardio together.
That's amazing.
Oh my God. I was just like, okay. Yes, it's just like, Muda. And, you know, here it comes, moseying in.
Yeah, that would definitely be like if that happened to me, like the biggest probably mark out moment of my life.
Oh yeah, I was like, keep calm, keep calm, keep calm, keep calm. I'm just like, hey.
How's it going?
Hey.
That's awesome. Melissa, thank you so much for being a part and sharing all of your stories with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun. Let's do it again.
Definitely. I loved it. Would love to have you again in the future because I mean, there's so many things also we didn't even touch on. I mean, I'm trying to keep it within a time frame, you know?
Hey, you know what? It's pandemic. Well, let's do it again. We'll touch on more.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
going anywhere.
Same. All right, guys, until next time, this is Talkin Sass.